Okay, this is chapter 11 practice test. We're going to start with number 9 here and see how far we can get. Okay, data set is normally distributed with a mean of 1500, so that's x bar, and a standard deviation of 55, so that's sigma. What's the probability that random selected x value is less than 1400? Less than or equal to 1400. That's how we write it here. Well, we need a z-score. So the z-score is equal to the x, which is 1400, minus the mean, 1500, divided by standard deviation, which is 55. So your z-score, when you subtract, you get negative 100 over 55. Ooh, this is getting squished in here. You end up with negative 1.8. All right, then you look on the table, negative 1 all the way over to 0.8, and this will be actually on your test. And you read that value, 0.0359. So multiply that by 100, 3.59 to make it a percent. Okay, we'll just place 2 places to make that a percent. So 3.59% chance of that being less than or equal to 1400. All right, now for 10 through 13, we have to identify what type of sampling there is. Okay, candy companies calls on every 10th person on the list of Rochester residents to find a type of candy that is their favorite in Rochester. Because there's a system, whenever it's every 10th or every 5th, it's considered a systematic sample. Okay, I put all of my students' names in a hat and draw out 10 to be surveyed. They're picked at random. Everyone has the same chance of being selected. So it's a random sample. All right, number 12, a trucking company puts a sticker on the back of its semis saying, "How's my driving?" Well, if you're going to call in, you choose yourself, so it's a self-selected sample. People that are included in the sample choose to be included in the sample. Jay Leno stands on the sidewalk in downtown Los Angeles and asks the first 15 people that walk by who is their favorite president. Well, it's just the first 15, and it's most convenient, so it's a convenient sample. Okay, just be sure you can tell the difference between each of those: systematic, random, self-selected, and convenient samples. All right, number 14. You need an 80% average on your tests to earn a B in Algebra 2. Your first 3 tests are 78, 85, and 92. What score on the next one do you need to get an average of 80? Okay. Now, this is one where you know the average. To calculate average, you get total divided by the number of tests, which would be 4, equals average of 80%. Change that to a decimal. Multiply both sides by 4. Your total for all your tests, since we're talking straight points, I'm going to get rid of the decimal point, 320. So far, you have 78, 85, and 92. And let me grab my calculator and add all those together. I didn't do that at time. 78 plus 85 plus 92, 255. So all these together is 255 points. Well, you need 320 points altogether. Subtract the 255 you have already. $65. So that's what you need on your last test in order to get an 80% average. All right, number 15. 400 students are surveyed. What's the margin of error? Well, the margin of error is plus or minus 1 over the square root of n. And n is the number of people surveyed. Okay, so all we have to do is stuff that in the formula. 1 over, plus or minus 1 over the square root of 400. All right, square root of 400 is 20. Plus or minus 1 over 20. Divide that out. Ends up 0.05. So it ends up being plus or minus, change it to percent, 5%. All right, number 16. What margin of error? Oh, you want the margin of error to be plus or minus 2%. How many people do you need to survey? Well, if you want it to be plus or minus 2%, 0.02, it's going to equal 1 over the square root of the number of people surveyed. So this is what you need to solve for n. Ignore the plus or minus for the formula. Now, I'm going to start by squaring both sides. 0.02 squared is 0.0004 equals, when I square this, 1 squared is 1, square root of n squared is n. Next step is to get the n by itself, so I need to get out of the denominator. Oops, running out of room. So 0.0004 times n equals 1. 0.0004. Divide both sides, 0.0004. Okay. And then once you do that, 1 divided by 0.0004, 2,500. Okay, there's a little simpler way to do that. Actually, if you take the 0.02, square it in your calculator, and then just hit the reciprocal key, that'll give you the answer faster. But this way also works. Okay, that's enough for that video.